Evening, everybody. It's 5:45, and this is your closing comment for Monday, the 18th of October, and it is video number 983. I'm going to try and make this fast because I'm headed into town for the Red Sox game, so let's get right to it. Dow closed down 36. It was down substantially more, came roaring back, but there were still a few more stocks down than up. The NASDAQ was the real leader, and it was up 124 and change, or 0.8%, but it too was 5 to 8 to the downside. Volume was slightly higher. The S&P was up 15. The Russell was up $2.19, and the Dow Jones transports were up 91.84, or also 0.6%. This is what happens when you have a strong day with Apple and a strong day with Tesla and a couple of the other big name stocks. They dragged the NASDAQ up, even though they were, as I said, 8 to 5 to the downside. ZIVO closed Friday 94.97. I mentioned it this morning. Was around 91. When it opened for trading in the real world, though, the best it could get to was 87.87, traded down to 84.10, closed at 86, down almost 9.5%. The reason for that was simple. They've suspended their buyers program, their flipping program, because of the backlog and the lack of labor that new home building has. They have also, so they can't buy something and then upgrade it and turn around and flip it. So they've suspended that. ACI, Albertsons, beat top and bottom line. It was trading as high as 30.5 pre-market, but could only get to 30.11 in the real world, and it too traded to the downside. It traded both up and down, 27.90 to 30.11, which is really surprising because at $30 it was up substantially this morning. Closed 29.65, up $1.09, 3.8%. Disney down 3% at 117.17 on the downgrade by Barclays. Macy's on the news that they were spinning off SFA, Saks Fifth Avenue's online business, expecting to get about $6 billion for it. There's still a huge short position in Macy's, and it closed on Friday 24.04 and closed today 28.15, and that was up a full 17%. Very strong. As I said, Apple 146.55, up $1.71. We also had a bunch of news today. Industrial production was down 1.3%. Expectation was for up 0.2%. Capacity utilization 75.2, down from 76.5 expectation. And the NAHB housing index was a big beat, 80 versus 75 expected, and 76 last month. The chart on the screen is the oil, and I have it up there because we got shorted today. This is the weekly, and we are outside of the upper Bollinger Band for 3 weeks. We usually don't see much of that. If you go back even a little further, we'll go to 3 years, you can see it really kind of plays with the Bollinger Band pretty accurately, and has, this is the only time that it didn't. And if you recall, that was when oil actually went negative, so I'm not surprised about that. But we got below it here and turned back up. We got above it here and turned back down. That's kind of what I'm expecting here. On the daily chart, you can see it a little bit more clearly. It was not through the top Bollinger Band on the daily, even though the weekly was, but we got right up to it this morning, and by the time the market was opened, it was back down to barely up on the day. And so We didn't get an opportunity to buy it as cheaply as I would have liked to, but it only cost about a nickel more for the options. So oil down 4, gold down 260, Bitcoin down 425. Tomorrow starts the Bitcoin ETF. It is not a cash ETF. It is not a stock ETF. It is specifically an ETF for the futures, the same way that the same way that the oil at the end of the month was a futures contract and went from $40 a barrel to minus $40 a barrel. So we do have the opportunity for a big downside. We also have the opportunity for a strong upside, but this is based on futures. It is not based on grayscale. It is not based on Bitcoin Cash. It is specifically the futures, and the symbol will be BITO. Also, tomorrow we have housing starts and housing permits, and we have a bunch of earnings. Commerce Bank, Travelers, BK Mellon, Signature Bank, Procter & Gamble, Kansas City Southern Railroad, KSU, Philip Morris, MO, Johnson & Johnson. And then after the close, we have Netflix, UAL, IBKR, and ISRG. So there you have it. I'm going to root my home team on. Have a good evening. I'll be back.